Welcome everybody to a new video. I am starting a reading vlog. So my goal for this vlog is to read at least half of the International Booker Prize shortlist. So the International Booker Prize winner is going to be announced quite soon, before the end of this month. And for years I've been saying I want to follow the International Booker Prize and I never make a priority out of it. And I think last year this was part of, and like a few years back as well, this was part of my motivation for going to zero TBR would be that I could prioritize these types of plans and not feel bad about all the tons of books that I still have on the TBR that I haven't gotten around to. And so my TBR is small right now. I've just bought 4 books, but it still means that the TBR is at 13, I think, and out of those 13 I'm already reading 2, for example, so it isn't all that big. I have the space to just dedicate to other stuff, and so I thought that this weekend I would dedicate to the International Booker Prize. Now, my primary goal is to get through at least half of the long list. But not the long list, half of the short list. The short list is also short. The majority of the books on the shortlist do not appear to be very long, which is good because there was also a very long book on the long list and that one didn't make it through. So I have access to 3 of the books on the 6-book shortlist through Storytel. So I'm actually going to start out by reading those 3. If I have time for something else, then happily, it'll depend, I guess, on what my interests are in the remaining 3 on the shortlist, how easily I can get my hands on them, and how much time I have left. If I have a few hours left in the weekend, then I probably won't start another book within this project, but who knows. But so yeah, I'm going to start with On the Calculation of Space, I think it's called, Volume 1 by Solveig Bal. This is the book basically that most interests me on the shortlist. It is the first book in a 7-book series, but they're all, or at least the first one, is super short. This is the longest one on this of the 3 that I have access to, but it still is under 200 pages as far as I'm aware. But the concept is that our protagonist wakes up on the 18th of November, and every time that she goes to sleep it's the 18th of November. Every time that she wakes up it is once again the 18th of November. So it's a time travel, well, not really time travel, a time loop novel, which I love the trope of a time loop. This is going to be a literary work with a time loop concept, so I cannot wait. I love time loops. I love to see what they will do with it in this particular work, especially considering it's going to be 7 books. What is going to be the overarching flow going through all 7 of these books? Are we going to continue in the time loop in the other books within the series? But yeah, I'm looking forward to diving into that one, so that will be the first one that I'm tackling. So it is a septology, of which currently 5 books out of the 7 have already been published in Danish. Translations are being made in 20 countries. I will actually also be reading the Dutch translation, so not the actual translation that is nominated for the International Booker. On Storytel there's a lot more Dutch books available than English, and so if I have access to the Dutch and not the English, that way I'm still going to read it like that rather than spend extra money on the English translation itself. So the author Solveig Bal is a Danish author and publisher, and the translation that is nominated is a translation by Barbara J. Haviland. And then the translation that I will be consuming is a weird way to say this, I guess, but that's what my brain is pushing my way. Where do I see that? Translated by Edith Koenders and Adriaan van der Hoeven. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm so looking forward to it, and I hope that I love it as much as I love this trope in general, because otherwise I'm gonna be quite disappointed with this one, not gonna lie. Presently I hear him on the stairs and in the hall again. Then he goes into the living room and sits down in an armchair by the window facing the road. And there he waits, reading and watching the November rain. He is waiting for me. My name is Tara Selter. I am sitting in the back room overlooking the garden and a wood pile. it is the 18th of November. Every night when I lay down to sleep in the bed in the guest room, it is the 18th of November, and every morning when I wake up, it is the 18th of November. I no longer expect to wake up to the 19th of November, and I no longer remember the 17th of November as if it were yesterday. Hey everybody, so it is Sunday morning and I still haven't finished, well I have just finished, but I still haven't finished on the calculation of volume, so the first book that I was talking about, but I did just finish an audiobook, so I finished Perfection by Vincenzo. I'll have to have the cover on the screen somewhere now to finish out that last name for me, but this is a book that I'm gonna find very difficult to kind of explain to you guys or sell to you guys. In the end, it was a 4-star read for me, but like it's also not something that I would necessarily recommend. Like it's a very specific thing. If you like literary fiction, then maybe do give this one a go. But this is just a story about 2 expats in Berlin who are going through life and who are trying to find happiness and are just kind of like, they're trying to find happiness, they're trying to find an authentic life, and they're just kind of like so near to it but never really reaching what they're looking for. They have this period in time in which they seem to be really happy, but then, you know, like they start to like, there are these elements that we're introduced to that make it clear to us that they're not really fully in their element neither. And then there are these topics that are being discussed, like their love life, for example. So it's kind of like explaining how they're just like settling for bad sex, and then there's this discussion of the immigration crisis where they kind of get involved, but then also start to feel like there's no real place for them there anymore to like help out in this crisis, or that the crisis becomes less sort of like urgent, and then they also kind of lose their vigor for it. They go out and try to become like digital nomads, and while their Instagram account like really flourishes and people are always jealous of like the life that they're living, while they're living that life they also feel like this isn't exactly what they were out there looking for, and they feel like, you know, this isn't the authentic experience that they imagined themselves living when they were thinking of like, oh, let's move to Lisbon for a few months. And so it's kind of like a book about searching for happiness, and happiness just always being slightly out of grasp. But yeah, that's like a hard sell, of course. It is very short. The audiobook is like 3 hours and something, and I finished it in 2 goes basically. I listened to half of it yesterday evening, half of it this morning. I think I had like a timer on to just stop listening at the end of a chapter, but then when the timer went off I just went back to it because I did enjoy listening to it. It would have probably cost me more if I would have tried to physically read it, but as an audiobook I really enjoyed the experience of it. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing mind-blowing, but I was engrossed. I did want to know, like I did want to keep on going, and I had a good time with it. Imperfect. Reality didn't always live up to the pictures. In the mornings it often would. Waking up the sight of filtered light dancing on the walls would instantly put them in a good mood. Yesterday's clothes would be strewn over the clothes stands. Their phones, having charged overnight, would be glaring rectangles on the dusty covers of 2 open books with their spines facing up. They would check their emails and social media from bed, their faces blue from the backlit screens, looking like a young professional couple in Berlin, which is exactly what they were. But the moment they set foot in the living room, that confidence would start to falter, like a previously clear voice on a phone losing signal. But so yeah, I'm still busy on the calculation of volume. Number one, I have already looked up when the like how many books are available in translation at the moment, when the next ones will drop. I know the sixth one will drop in March 2026, so this entire series will take a while before it's still fully wrapped up. But hey, we already have 4 out of the 7 volumes at this point in time, and so that already tells you something about how much I'm enjoying it. I am going through it really slowly, but that's mainly because my physical reading skills are very low at the moment. I feel like I'm so easily distracted, and so physically reading has been a chore for a while for me now, and so that is also reflected in the pace that I'm going through this one with. While I'm reading it quite fast, but just like I need to take breaks so frequently, because my mind is just too scatterbrained, I guess, at the moment. So let's just try and keep on practicing with physical reading to get that focus back that I used to have, where you can sit down and read for way longer than I'm currently doing. But I am enjoying it a bunch. But I'll talk more about that book when I'm actually done with it, to give you my comprehensive thoughts on it. But so yeah, you can already infer that I am really enjoying it. Hello, it is like almost a week later and I'm still yet to round off this vlog. But so I had a really good time last weekend with these books. Sure, I would have loved to get a lot more reading done, but I am happy that I had a good time with both of these books. So I have finished on the calculation of volume 1, and I definitely will say that like I don't think it's for everybody, because yes, it is a time loop novel, but like a lot of people who love time loop novels might not like this, just because like almost nothing happens in it to some extent. You know, it's just about like reliving an ordinary day like time and time again, and how if time starts to have no meaning, the impact that that has on our person, on our character, on our protagonist. But yeah, there were definitely sections in which I was starting to kind of struggle a little bit, but the character was also definitely struggling, so maybe that's why I was struggling a little bit as a reader as well, because, you know, like she was kind of losing her sense of identity, I guess, or maybe it can be argued that she was getting closer to her own self in that moment. But so yeah, she was kind of spiraling, and that was a little bit more difficult for me to get through. But I ended up really enjoying this novel, and I'm very curious to see what will happen with the rest of them, because, you know, I have indicated earlier in this vlog, I think this is supposed to be a 7-part series, of which currently the first 5 parts are out in Danish, and like for example, I saw that like the 6th one I think is gonna come out in Dutch translation in like March 2026 or something. So, you know, I'm I'm down for a little bit of a longer run with this one, and I kind of assume that they'll all be short, but who knows. But I'm curious to see what we're gonna fill like 7 books with, because as I said, not a lot is like what's happening within this one either. You know, it's not like, you know, some of the examples that I indicated earlier, it's not like she has to prevent something major from happening. It's just like she somehow gets sucked into this time loop on an ordinary regular day, and then is like reliving that day over and over, trying to get out of it. But yeah, it's not like she has to succeed in avoiding something massive, or like uncover a massive conspiracy. But who knows, maybe that'll come in later books. But so yeah, I enjoyed that one a whole lot. I enjoyed this entire weekend a whole lot. I don't think that I'll do the same for the weekend that's to come. It is Friday at the moment in which I'm filming this clip. I'm kind of tempted to do it, just because it's like the announcement of the Booker Prize is going to be in the week to come, when you're seeing this vlog. So this is like the final weekend that I can read it without being influenced by the result of the Booker International Prize. But yeah, on the other hand, I have another vlog idea for this weekend that I'm really excited for, and that I've kind of been like living for the entire week. I've been waiting for this moment for the weekend to start. So I think I'll do that vlog instead, because I'm just a little bit more excited about that one. And even though that one doesn't necessarily have a sense of urgency behind it, Now it does in my brain. So I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts are on them. But if not, yeah, you know, like just have a great time and see you guys for the next video. Bye!